Today is December 15th, and it's always a great pleasure to be here and just to pray to God and to worship Him and to go through His Word to grow a little bit and bring some good points out. And I think this one will be a little bit challenging message today. It's not easy to pick which message I bring and which verse. It actually took me a lot today. It's even after noon before I finally came to a conclusion of what I would choose. So the title of this is "We All Sin and Fall Short of Perfection," and it's Galatians 1:11-12. But when Peter came to Antioch, and excuse me, when Peter came to Antioch and was stood to the face because he was to be blamed, for he had certain came from the James, and he had eaten with the Gentiles. But they had come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of the circumcision. And the other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas was also carried away with the dissension. When I saw that they walked not uprightly in the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them, if thou as being a Jew liveth in the manner of Gentiles, but not as a Jew, why compelleth the Gentiles to live as you do as the Jews? This is a great parable of Paul, who was a great sinner. I mean, let's not forget Paul greatly sinned um, uh, against God's kingdom. He had allowed many Christians to go to death because of his great sin. And so he was a fallen person, to say the least. But he repented, and God, he saw God on the way to go way on the road Damascus, and he became a true follower of Christ and turned from his ways and preached the gospel. And Peter, who's Peter, this is God's, one of his three main disciples. Oh, he just wouldn't listen and wouldn't listen, and then he was amazing at times. And so this is the great Peter, and this is after he's repented and God restored him at the end of Acts. Peter falls back into a little bit of hypocrisy, and that's, I would say, it's a lesson for Peter, but it's a lesson for all of us. Peter was a great man who ended up giving his life up. Tradition says that he was, of course, crucified, but not just crucified. First, he was taken with his wife, and he had to watch his wife be crucified. And then he said he was unworthy after watching this, and he asked to be crucified upside down, which they did, and so much so that supposedly one of the Roman officers was taken back and asked to be crucified as well, because he became a Christian on the spot. That's this Peter who fell back into the law and would hurt the Christian walk, hurt the Gentiles coming to God. And this was God's plan, that Gentiles, being us, would also come to God and be holy and one and in his family. And so it's amazing. I just go back to my title, and I believe it's Galatians 2, 11-12, 11-14, not 1. We do all sin. We all fall short of the perfection. It doesn't matter if you're a preacher or a pastor or a leader in the church, or you're a guy who's at the local mission and trying to put your life in order. You all fall short. We all fall short. I fall short. I fall short in so many ways. And so none of us is better. None of us is great like God, like Christ was. And so we have to remember that every day we have to challenge ourselves not to sin. We have to challenge ourselves to just to be on point, because we can so easily fall away from what God would want and not show love and not be true. And just like the video I shared, the extra video I shared yesterday, of the lady who really wasn't living for Christ, and I think I'm going to leave it there again today. And God said, I didn't know you. It's that narrow is the path, broad is the way that leads to destruction. But narrow is the path that find Christ, that come to heaven, because we want to do it by our own will. We want to be prideful. There's so much innate sin in us that we have to fight it. So I think this is a great message for all of us in this day where we're so focused on our own needs. And as Revelation says, this will be a time of people who seek pleasure, only want to please themselves. And it's so innately around us. It's the great sin in America right now. We're only worried about our own selves. And I'm stricken by it for myself, for those around me. And just what really matters? Does the big house matter? Does the making a 5 more million matter? Making $1 billion, does it matter when, in God's mind, one soul coming to him is worth amazing, infinite almost amounts? And so, anyway, I pray you do well. I pray you have a blessed day. I hope this message helps you. I say this in Christ's name, amen.